You might think that the best aces in World War II were flying Spitfires for Britain, or were part of the Luftwaffe. But I bet you've never heard of the Soviet women that were flying Soviet biplanes at night. And they became the most feared bomber regiment on the Eastern Front. In 1941, German troops are starting to push through the USSR, and Stalin authorized a rather unusual project: the creation of 3 all-female air regiments. One of them, the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, would go down in history as the Night Witches. Their commander, Yevdoka, had to train farm girls, factory workers, and students to become combat-ready air pilots overnight. And their planes were relics, Polikarpov PO-2 biplanes, built of plywood and canvas, with no cover and a top speed of 94 miles an hour. They had no armour, no radios, and no weapons for self-defense. And the Germans mocked them at first. And then the bombing raids started. The Night Witches only flew at night, and they would approach in groups of 3. 2 aircraft would dive, drawing the searchlights and the flak, and the third would cut its engines and glide, dropping bombs along the front. And then they'd rotate and do it again and again. Each pilot could fly up to 18 missions every night. They navigated by stopwatch, moonlight, and landmarks. And it was freezing up there. There was no heat in the cockpits, which meant that winter fights over the Caucasus and over Belarus left them with frost on their faces and fingertips, meaning that frostbite was ever present. They carried so much ordnance that often they would forego a parachute to carry more bombs. And if hit, there was no bailout, just a fiery crash. The sound of the rippling canvas as it descended towards their lines gave them nightmares. And they called them the Night Witches, claiming that they could see these women with their goggles on and their windswept hair looking like witches on broomsticks. And by the war's end, this regiment had flown 23,000 sorties and dropped over 3,000 tons of bombs. 32 of its members were given the honorary title of Hero of the Soviet Union. They weren't inglamorous fighters, but these women, flying obsolete planes in unimaginable conditions, became one of the most effective combat units in the war. The Night Witches didn't just haunt the Germans, they rewrote the very playbook that said who could fly and fight.